Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about in this video today. So MX Bikes Beta 17 has just been released, and let's just say it was an eventful release. I didn't get to record the actual release because it released about midnight for me, seeing as I live in the UK, so it released about midnight or around that time, and I was in bed and I saw on Discord all of the notifications, people going off about it, that it just released. So I got up and I had a look, but I didn't record anything because I literally spent about 2 minutes on it before heading off because I did not want to mess around with that. I'll try and get some clips. I don't know if I'll be able to get some. If I have, they will be on screen right now, but like don't take my word for it because I'm not sure if I'll be able to find any clips. But I'll just explain it right now, what was happening. So you know how you lean left to right on the bike with your rider lean, however you have that on your controller. For me, it's the right stick. Yeah, it was very overly sensitive, like incredibly oversensitive. Like you would literally just be dancing on the bike and it would make you flip out. It was really bad. And if you would go for a whip or a scrub, it would just snap you back into place, and it was just horrible. It was clearly a bug when that released, so that was fixed. But that's not really what I want to talk about in this video, because the main part is there's very mixed opinions on the new beta, and this is what this video is going to be all about. And I am today in this video rocking the KTM 450. I do usually ride the 250, but just to show the difference in these physics, I feel like it's just appropriate to ride the 450. So I'm on the track Anaheim 2, which was the recent Supercross track that was released. With this new update, there was many positives and many negatives. Well, I don't know if there's many, but there's definitely positives and negatives. As you can see, if you look on the screen, that's different from my previous videos, is the max HUD, which would display your times, the map, like just other things that you'd set up on the screen. That is not working anymore because the people that make the max HUD, I believe, are different to obviously the people that make the game, so they haven't updated it to beta 17 yet, so it does not display right now in the new update. And if you have it installed still, it will give you bike mismatch when trying to join certain servers. So I had to uninstall it, which is a shame because now you don't know any of your times on screen unless you go back to the pits, which is quite annoying. It was definitely a change from having the max HUD. This is why it was probably a bad idea using the 450, because I don't ride 450. So with this update, the traction has changed a lot. Like, it's so much more slippy. But I actually like this change a lot, because when in beta 16, people could just absolutely fly around turns, and like you could literally just stick to the floor, like traction wasn't a thing, and people would be able to do crazy times and stuff like that, and it just wasn't realistic. So I like the new traction. However, I don't know how well it suits the 450. 250, I absolutely love it. It's really good at trying to get used to it, like, and actually learning how to control the throttle properly. I know it's not that hard on a 250, but it's still there as a little element that you have to do. You can't just go into a turn and absolutely lever on the throttle that you'd have to do to, like, for example, hit these whoops. You'd have to do that on a 250. Just, you could rail the turn and blitz through the whoops, but you can't do that anymore because you will spin out if you do that. So you have to go in and flow around the turn. You can still technically rail it, but you have to, if you have full throttle on going in and out, you're just going to spin out. So 250, I feel like the update fits the 250s more, because the 450s, you have to go so slow. Like, even in beta 16, the 450s were hard to control, especially coming from 250. But now it's even harder because there's not as much traction. You have to control it more. And obviously in the game, if you play 450s, they're so powerful. So it definitely adds a little bit of a harder element to 450s. So the physics have changed quite a lot. Now, I'm pretty sure the update hasn't said, like, if you look at the update on Steam, like the patch notes or the changelog, whatever, it doesn't actually say anything to do with physics, but if you ride a bike, you can just feel that there's something different. It's not the same as it was physics-wise. On the ground, I much prefer these ground physics, like, just the way you have to ride, even though it's technically harder with the traction, it just feels better. Because this is a simulator, this isn't an arcade game. So I feel like with the update, Boboso's tried to make it more simulated, which is actually makes more common sense if you think about it, because it is a simulator. But people are just so used to it being easy and being able to just, you know, full throttle everything, that they don't like it. Which I can sort of understand, especially for people like all the pros who have put in thousands of hours, and then they got so used to this, so used to the beta 16. They got so used to the beta 16 that now they just have to switch, and they spent thousands of hours practicing on a different, basically pretty much a different game. But, you know, I feel like this is definitely going to bring everyone more towards the same skill level. Obviously, new players will still be below that skill level, but all of the insanely fast people who are doing it insane times in some sort of unrealistic way will now have to relearn the physics, and obviously that will bring the competition closer together. One annoying thing about this update though is that all of the races, all the race series that have been set up have been postponed because no one really wants to race right now, or no one really wants to host it. Plus, I also think that's because of servers weren't working. I don't know if, I think they're working now, but some of them weren't working when the races were meant to happen, so they were cancelled. So I'm back on the 250 because I actually wanted to be able to ride a few laps. But yeah, as I was saying, the some races, or all races, matter of fact, have been cancelled. Even the race, so it's Thursday right now, and the aerial Supercross series every Friday, so obviously it would have been tomorrow, but they're going to postpone that race, which I guess is fair enough. But it is quite annoying because there's no races. So, and not gonna lie, when there's no races, this game can kind of get a bit boring. Not boring as such, but you kind of get burnt out if you just sit here playing, just riding laps. Like, you like to do some races. It's the fun thing for this game. The one last thing that I want to touch on about the new update is the air physics. So like, when you do a jump and you scrub, compared to beta 16, it's very stiff, and it's more of the fact because you have to scrub, you have to bring the bike back yourself, because it won't come back itself. So to do that, you have to use the rider lean. So like now I'm using all of my finger strength I can to bring this bike back, because otherwise it'll just stay where it is, and then you'll obviously crash. So that's a new aspect. I feel like that's actually a pretty good aspect, because it makes you play. It makes you do more work manually rather than the bike just doing it automatic for you, which is good. Obviously, that's more fitting into the simulator aspect of the game. However, I do believe that it could be a little less stiff. Like, they maybe tone down or tone up, sorry, the speed of the way your rider does it. Maybe keep it how it is, as in where you have to do the work to bring the bike back, but increase the speed that it happens, if you get what I'm saying. Like, because I feel like sometimes it's too slow, and then you crash because you don't have enough time to bring it back. But that could also be the tracks aren't made for these physics right now. Obviously, the tracks were made on the beta 16, so they fit those sort of riding style. But I've seen a lot of pros making videos about the new update, so whether or not it will change, I guess, depends on how many people are complaining, I guess. But to be honest, if it stays how it is and they change what I talked about, aka the air physics being a little bit faster, I think it will be fine. I honestly think it will be fine, because it's more of a simulator aspect. So that's my thoughts on it. Hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.